Welcome to the Insert Slogan Here podcast. My name is Sam.
And I'm Logan.
And this is the podcast that talks about everything from controversial to vulgar language to, your classic innuendos. And I need to come up with a better introduction. I'm working on it, but 'tis the season. And special Christmas edition for you. We're going to be talking about a lot of fantastic stuff. We're wearing the best sweaters ever. Logan's got snowflakes on his. I've got a cat on mine that says Santa Claus. It's great. So now we're going to move into the show. I got the slogan of the week this week, and the slogan I chose, I made it up, of course. It's "'Tis the season to be thankful for what you have," and that just kind of encompasses all holidays, not specifically Christmas, but I think it's the time of year where everybody tends to, what's the word I'm looking for? Overindulge in all the food and presents and the warmth of family and friends. And I think you should always keep in mind that all your shit could be gone in a second. So just be thankful for what you have every single day. But this is a special time of year where I have to really remind you, because it just seems to be the time of year where everyone just seems to give a fuck all of a sudden about everybody else in their life. And the rest of the year, they're just, you know what? I don't know. But anywho, be thankful for what you have, because that's important. And Logan, what's the worst pain you have ever felt, emotional or physical?
I'd say the disappointment that my parent, I don't know if there's one specific situation where this hits, but the I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed
Ooh.
is like the worst feeling, because it's just pure pits of hell type of emotion right there, because you're just in the biggest valley. You know that you let people down that love you and love you unconditionally. So those moments are the worst. Specifically, I can't think of the best time or one specific time. There are a couple to choose from, but just knowing the disappointment, that does feel bad. Have I lived a privileged life to say that's the worst pain I felt? Damn right I have. But no, it's terrible to disappoint the people that love you and that you love. So
I feel you there.
how about yourself, Sam?
Oh man. Like you, I've been fortunate enough to not suffer a whole lot of physical trauma. So I can't really think of times where I've thought of times where I've been in such emotional distress that I've made myself physically ill.
Okay.
I think probably the worst pain I've ever felt was about, man, like 2 years ago now. Yeah, it was like 2 years ago, almost about this time of year. Just went through a rough breakup, and it was like the worst. It was the worst pain. Like, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit in bed and cry and do nothing. So that was probably the worst pain I've ever felt.
Dude, that made me sad. Just thinking of you made me really sad.
Yeah, dude, it was because I felt so ill that I didn't really eat I mean, I still ate eventually, like I got over that, but it wasn't like my normal eating habits. So
right.
yeah, so that's probably the worst. Whenever I go through that, or if I ever go through that again, I guess would probably be the worst. Because yeah, but yeah, sad day. We're starting this episode off really fucking strong, and we're gonna continue with more heartache and heartbreak. This favorite Christmas episode. So the reason I'm really tilted this week is I was browsing Reddit, of course, and I came across this ad. Of course, it's from boingboing.net, so of course I know how accurate it is. The website is completely legitimate. But
they're the CNN of...
Yeah. Oh man. So I'm not exactly sure where they got their facts about this, but it just reminds me of the trauma and pain that everybody goes through in the world that I don't have the misfortune to go through or witness every day of my life. But apparently in Michigan, Wayne County, which is the county that Detroit is in, they found several thousand rape kits that were just dumped without investigation. And by thousands, I mean over 11,000 to be precise. And then they did the calculation of that it approximately would be over 800 serial rapists that, have struck 10 to 15 times. And granted, I think these are, rough estimate numbers, and, they do their science and math and all that stuff. So that just super tilted me. I was just like, holy fuck. And then, you know, I browsed through the Reddit comments because, of course, I want to see what other people have to, you know, their insights. And one person pointed out that the reason that this possibly might have been the case, that all these were dumped, was several reasons. One, they just did not have the staffing or the manpower to do it. They were short on funding, and they can't do it all. And, you know, number two is the cops or officers or whoever was doing the investigation just didn't seem to give a fuck, or decided it was not worth their time, or the investigation was stalled. One, you know, there's several reasons why it didn't happen, but it just upsets me that there were so many rape incidents and rape kits that were done, that people went to get help and nothing fucking happened. Like, whether or not they wanted to press charges or not was up to them, but like, oh hey, we did the rape kit, here's what happened, what do you want to do next, you know, to those rape survivors. And that just really fucking tilts me, dude.
Dude, I'm just hoping that it's passive. What was what I was going to passive incompetence and not active negligence. I'm hoping that these people were just incompetent at being able to do the job, and that they didn't have the time or the power, or, you know, possibly, you know, intellectual incompetence
Yeah.
to be able to take care of all these cases. I'm hoping that that's the case, and not that people are actively going out of their way to not like investigate, because that is a horrendous number of rape kits. That is just, it's hard to even fathom that.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And I mean, Wayne County is the most populated county in Michigan. It houses like 1.2 to 1.6 million people. Like that's a majority of Michigan's population. So, but still, that number of 11,000 rape kits is, yeah, like, I agree, is astounding. And I hope they weren't, you know, just like, you know what, I'm just not feeling it today. We're not going to go through with this rape kit. And yeah, no, just I'm gonna go get some lunch. I really hope that wasn't the case for a lot of these.
Fuck you twice.
It's like, and not politely either. Yeah,
exactly. It's like, it's almost like they got raped first.
Jesus. Oh God.
But in any case.
But yeah, so I'm gonna post the link to this this article in the description. You could read about yourself. But yeah, so that's really what tilted me. Logan, tell me what tilted you this week.
Yeah, it's going. It's been a great week so far, but you know, it was going really quick, and I was feeling good. And then I saw this a tweet in reference to this, and it was that the VA, or the Veterans Administration, has been failing to report potentially dangerous doctors. So the situation is that there are numerous doctors that have lost their medical licensing with the state. Not that they didn't reapply for it, that they actually, it was taken away from them. And then the VA would hire them.
Oh my God.
And it's just like, so many malpractice doctors were working for the VA, and it just like, of all of the programs that I don't think taxes should go to, the VA is like one of the ones that I love that it goes to. You know what I mean? Like, I want there to be good funding and good healthcare for the veterans, because they are braver than anything I have ever done.
Yeah.
Going to war. That is just, I have never done it. I don't plan to ever do it.
Yeah.
And it's just a great sacrifice. So we have to treat them with respect and dignity when they come home. And sadly, it's just not happening. And this is just another sign of that. And it's just kind of bullshit. And that's why I'm kind of tilted about it. But,
like, were they just not, like, you know, I'm going through the article that I'll be posting in the description, of course, but like, did they just decide to not go through a routine background check? Like,
you'd think that they would, but I just think that they didn't care, that they just needed the people. And that is just sad. So
yeah,
I'm
that's
hoping
really,
that it gets better, but
that's really upsetting, because, you know, like you said, like, people put their lives on the line and then they come back. Or, you know, like, I would expect to have physicians and doctors that are top notch, or at least, you know, have,
or at least notch, at least somewhere.
That don't have their you know, medical practice taken away from them.
Right. It's like,
this
seems like a no-brainer, but
this is almost really as bad as that one doctor that worked for the Team USA Gymnastics.
Oh, I'd say it's a little bit less terrible than that guy. That guy was the worst.
But like, that just reminds,
in our crowd, for the people in our crowd who don't know, the guy is going to be in prison for sexually abusing a lot of gymnastics preteens, teenagers, some adult. It depends on how laid up it goes. But he's been doing it for
He's
years
been
and years and years.
over a decade. He's been doing
Over a
it for over
decade.
a decade.
Anyway, you can continue now, Sam. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine, dude. That this just reminded me of that. I didn't like. We're not even going to talk about that. But apparently, I also saw we can talk about this too. That kind of tilted me was that the really I cannot remember her name. The famous gymnast that like won gold was super.
Michaela.
Yeah.
Michaela, what's her last name?
Maroney.
That's right.
So
we put it together.
Yes, we're the best. Apparently, before while this investigation was ongoing, the Team USA Gymnastics organization, they talked to the FBI, and they didn't warn or tell anybody else about Nassar's possible investigation. And then apparently they did a settlement for 1.25 million to Michaela to make sure that she didn't expulge more information. You can probably just Google that because that's recent, last 24-hour news, 48-hour news. So that it's what made you think it was a good idea to do that? Not inform other people about, hey, so we're doing this possible investigation about this dude. It's been doing this for over a decade. So yeah, just don't go to him, and then we'll close the deal really quick. It took him over 9 months.
And then another part about that's kind of interesting is that minors are actually not allowed to sign non-disclosure agreements, so it's kind of against the law to do that anyway. So Michaela is suing the Olympic gymnastics team. I saw that yesterday. I think Philip DeFranco talked about it, but I saw it. It's pretty interesting situation that we have going for ourselves.
Oh my god, dude! But yeah. So that's why we're tilted. But we're gonna get into more positive news. And of course, while I was browsing Reddit, I found this really interesting GIF or GIF. Do you say GIF or GIF?
I say GIF. I think GIF is peanut butter, and it starts with a J.
So I think the same thing, but I say it sometimes both ways. And I'm just going to say GIF because you say GIF, and we have to be a tag team here, and we're together. So yeah. Anywho.
Or we could just disagree. It'll be fun.
So this in the top comment, this person described what had actually happened in the GIF, and apparently this little kid had his 3DS stolen. He wrote on the whiteboard in class saying, "Hey, whoever stole it, I'm not mad. I just want it back. It was a gift from my grandma, and it means a lot." Apparently, he didn't get it back, and then the teacher, one of the teachers, and several of the kids felt pretty bad, and they pitched in and got him a new 3DS. And I'm going to be posting that GIF in the description because it just makes your heart happy. It just talk about Christmas edition. This is classic Christmas edition content right here, and you should definitely.
The rest of it won't be. So take this happiness while you can.
But that's the best. That's probably one of the best things I saw all week, besides getting out of work early today, and it made my heart happy. I'm like, yes, there's goodness in the world. Thank you for making this little kid's day. I know it would make my day. So
that's some cool stuff.
That's some good shit.
On the other side of things, so the UN. So we discussed this. I can't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but Donald Trump declared that Jerusalem would be recognized by the United States as the capital of Israel, and the UN held a vote today. Whether or not the United States, I guess I should preface it with this: it's a suggestion. There's nothing legally binding. The United States doesn't have to do anything in regards to this vote, but they voted 128-9 with 35 abstains for the United States to roll back the decision on recognizing that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. This is stupid for a number of reasons, but I'll just pick out a couple. The UN, apparently half of the votes by the Security Council or whoever ran this vote are about Israel.
Yeah.
Just because they hate Jews, I guess. I don't know. They do a lot of stuff against the people of Israel, which just is kind of interesting. There are a number of these countries that are in the Middle East and are at war with Israel and dislike Jews just by nature. So it's a lot of leadership that actually just is anti-Semitic in nature. It's kind of interesting to see that people places like Germany. I saw a tweet that said that Germany voted in favor of the U.S. rolling this back, which is kind of interesting. That in the wake of German history, instead of trying to get back on the good side with the Jewish people, they decided to just keep going down that path. So it's interesting to see.
Sorry, go on.
Just to say, it's interesting to say the least that a country like Germany with I'll call it a troubled past, a shaky history when it comes to the Jewish faith.
Yeah.
That they would vote against something so at its core to the Jewish people. I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
You know what? I don't know if it's right to call that out necessarily because that was almost 100 years ago. But I don't think they would do it for that reason.
No, I don't think it was because of Hitler, but it's just kind of interesting to put the things next to each other. Just like, hey, we were trying to make amends for everything. Fuck the Jews. And that's not what the country's saying. And I don't speak for the people of Germany, obviously.
Yeah.
So all of our German fans just left the Twitch.
I agree. It's an interesting comparison if you put them together, but I would never formally come out and say they still hate Jews, guys. Guys, I wouldn't say that.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Yeah, the proof's in the pudding.
Oh my god!
You could have just abstained. You could have just, and a lot of our allies are voting against it. It's just,
I don't know.
For it, I should say, voting against us.
I would like to hear their reason. Like, I would like to hear the individual reasons why, besides like, it's just a bad idea. Okay, why is it a bad idea? We understand that it's a very controversial and questionable decision made on the behalf of the people of the United States and the Trump administration, but let's just talk. But I don't know, people don't like to talk anymore, which is yeah.
And before the vote, Trump said that to keep in mind that we might take away some funding for the UN and for some of these countries that have relationship with us. They said, like, we don't want to waste our money here. If you keep that in mind when the next budget comes around, and when America gets asked to put forth the most amount of money into the UN, as we do every year. And then I can't remember what her name is, but was our representative at the meeting, and she
the
said,
U.S. ambassador.
Said we're taking names. I fucking laughed when I read that.
I don't. Something about this.
I will kill you.
Something about this just doesn't appeal to me. Like, I can understand why, they're very upfront, Trump and the U.S. ambassador being like,
oh yeah,
like, hey, we're not, if you don't support us in this, that really fucking hurts. Like, we're butthurt about this, and we're not going to give you guys funding next year. Possibly not. I think they probably could have delivered it a little more smoothly. I appreciate the bluntness, but
if you think that smooth and this presidential term have been hand in hand,
I think
the same news that I am.
I think I'm going to be saying it throughout the rest of his term. Is like he could be a little more like finesse, just a little bit, just a tad.
But to think so he's had some finesse.
Yes, I cannot think of the speech that he did. Oh my god, it was like I was watching it. I was watching highlights of it. And I was like, holy shit, this is like the most well-spoken I think I've ever fucking heard him talk. I cannot remember the speech to save my fucking life. I'm upset right now.
A couple of those.
But yeah, like, just do that all the time. So we don't come off as such assholes to the rest. Like, we're not, I don't want to be the high-key asshole, okay? I want to be the low-key asshole that everyone's like, oh yeah, I like the United States. I heard they were assholes. No. Did you see what he did during the ceremony today? Like, during the meeting? He was great. He smiled and laughed at everybody, shook everybody's hand, I want that. I don't want, like, that. It's just, they're just so ballsy, and I can appreciate that. But in a time where...
You're right.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm beating it to death. If you want to go on.
No, you're right. You're right. I think we'll move past this then. Move into tax land. So the tax bill... passed the House and the Senate, so we're waiting on President Trump's signature. I'm not sure when it's going to come. They might wait until after the new year so that the instant cutbacks get put into place as of 2019 as opposed to 2018.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be big cuts to Medicaid and things like that. I'd be curious to see when it happens. But as of this time, he has not signed yet. We'll see what happens, though. They're very excited.
I am too. We'll see what happens. As I always do. I have no words. No words. Let's just...
You have no words?
Let's just move on.
Oh, I have a couple words.
Oh, okay. Let's hear them couple words.
Yeah, I'm very excited because with the company tax rate being lowered by like 15%, That's going to be huge, and it's already been shown to be huge as a lot of companies are putting out their investment plans, their hiring programs are putting new, they're investing in themselves, investing in the labor force, investing in their employees through bonuses and raise programs. You see a lot of companies that are doing this, and it's nice to see that they're taking advantage of a huge gift in this tax plan to be able to give back to their employees. I'm hoping to see more of that as we move forward. And also, as a part of this, the Obamacare healthcare mandate will be repealed,
Yeah.
which is gigantic, and I love it because I never thought health insurance should be a mandate. It's not health insurance if it's a mandate, because you're betting on yourself with insurance that you'll be healthy or not healthy. So I don't think it's right to force people to buy it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that's going away, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think people are still wait. So I'm negligent and very ignorant on this. Obamacare is still going to be around.
Correct.
But
the exchanges will still be up, but you're no longer required to buy health insurance.
That's true. That's true.
Which I'm very okay with.
Yeah, that's true.
Because health insurance is not supposed to be a mandatory thing.
No,
you're supposed to you're supposed to get it if you think you need it. So I'm okay with that.
I don't know.
I'm actually
I think I also saw that like a lot of people were still investing into Obamacare and using it as their health insurance. Yeah, which is a good thing.
You're still allowed to. You're still allowed to if you want insurance, but if you don't want insurance, you're no longer hit with a big old stick by the government if you don't have it. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think that'll be nice.
I think health insurance is beneficial though. So in a way,
yeah, for you it could be beneficial. But if you're a super healthy adult and you think you can save some money by not getting health insurance, that might be nice. You might get burned, and if you get burned, it's your fault. But at the end of the day, I think I'd rather have it be my fault that I don't have insurance.
I think that's probably why people. Yeah, well, that's maybe part of the reason why they tried to sell it like that was like, hey, this is so you don't get burned. Thank us later. That's probably it. Yeah, or one of the reasons. There were probably several reasons for the reason of the mandate,
but it's because they're trying to get socialized healthcare without calling it that.
Oh well.
But I'm okay with not having a healthcare mandate because it just seems stupid. Like I've said multiple times already today during this conversation, it's just a little stupid to force people to buy something that in the end is betting on yourself to be healthy.
So, well, I guess if the bet goes wrong, you're fucked.
Right. But I mean, just like all betting, but if the bet goes right, then you save yourself quite a bit of money, especially in terms of these Obamacare premium increases, which can be as big as, over 100% in the past 2 years. So
fuck yeah.
For some cases. So, sometimes the betting pays off in your favor. But that's a conversation possibly for another day.
Yeah.
I'm just excited.
Have we talked? Have we talked about health insurance before? No.
We might have.
No, we've talked about it briefly. We've talked about it briefly, but not like, I don't think extensive.
Yeah.
It's been yeah. Tell me about
LeVar Ball?
Yeah, tell me about LeVar Ball.
Jesus Christ, this story is upsetting for a couple of reasons. So LeVar Ball, for those of you who don't know, has 3 sons. There's LaMelo, LiAngelo, and then who's the other? Lonzo Ball, the most famous one. Lonzo Ball plays for the Lakers. He played at UCLA. Yeah. LaMelo played high school at the same high school as Lonzo, is Chino Hills, and LiAngelo was a student at UCLA. He was the one who famously got caught in China shoplifting, and Donald Trump helped get him out of jail there. So there were 3 kids total, and they were indefinitely suspended at the school, but were not kicked out of school, nor were they kicked off the team. But LeVar decided to take both LaMelo and LiAngelo and send them to Lithuania to play professional ball. Now, the league that they're playing for is not good, but they can then play together so that they can, live together over in Lithuania. However, Lithuania does not speak English primarily, and they don't speak any other language besides English.
Yeah.
And LeVar won't be living with them. And it's just dumb parenting. It's greedy parenting, in my opinion. Like, he's trying to get his kids to get to the NBA, and he thinks that this is the best route. It's not.
Yeah, I would agree.
Meta World Peace, the artist formerly known as Ron Artest, play basketball. He said that it was a good idea, which means that it's a horrible idea because Ron Artest is not known for his intellectual fortitude. Will be
Yeah.
the words I go with.
Yeah.
He, for those of you who don't know, earlier in his career, jumped into the stands and punched a guy in the face because
Yep.
he was getting booed, and then it escalated, and he got beer thrown on him or something. And then
I remember that.
Yeah, great game, great overall guy. But actually, it is one of my favorite sports moments because it's like it's a reminder of just like how close you are to be talking shit to someone that much bigger than you. You know what I mean? Like, there's really nothing separating that guy from getting up there and kicking your ass if you're gonna heckle. But
that's the great part about sports, though.
Right, you just get to heckle someone who's bigger and stronger than you.
Exactly.
And then they don't beat the shit out of you, except for if you're that one guy. But I just think it's terrible parenting because anyone would tell you that you have a better chance of, if you're trying to go pro, of just staying in college. Because even if you don't go pro, you got at least some semblance of a college education. I know it's not as strict as other students who are focusing primarily on just school.
Yeah.
But you're still getting some form of a college education. You're also training into the feeder leagues, into the NBA. More people come out of college to the NBA than people coming from other countries to the NBA. Correct. So I'd be intrigued to see how it plays out. I hope nothing but the best for the kids. But LeVar is playing with fucking fire here. I hope that he doesn't make a terrible decision.
Maybe they go these kids' lives forever. Maybe they go like a different route than the NBA. Like maybe they can make decent money playing ball in a different league, but not necessarily the NBA. Because like you said, like I don't see a whole lot of people coming from different countries in the NBA to play. I just don't see it.
Like you see people coming from different countries sometimes, but you don't see them coming like from different leagues a lot of the times. I don't know. It's weird. You don't see a lot of people going over to, like, you see someone like Jimmer Fredette. He started his career with the Kings. He was a BYU superstar, and then he went over to China. Now he's a superstar over there, but I don't see him coming back because his game just did not work in the NBA.
Yeah.
He just jacked it up from distance, and it just would go in. But
is it over in China now?
Yeah.
Oh,
I really hope that LeVar did not just ruin his kids' lives. By taking him out of school.
How old was the high schooler? Like 17?
Sophomore.
Jesus, that's young. Well, I hope they're learning the language over there in Lithuania, like real quick. Like it would not make sense. Why? I think a better situation or a better strategy is, hey, okay, so I want to send you guys like away, okay? And that's gonna happen in a year. And I haven't decided on the country yet. I'll tell you tomorrow what the country is. But you guys have a year to learn the fucking language, okay? And then you're gone. Like that, I think that would have been a little smarter, because then at least if they don't enjoy playing ball, maybe they could get a job there, or like go to school there, and blah 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 blah.
The issue is in the basketball. They love playing basketball, so I don't think that's going to be the issue.
I know.
But more of my issue with this is he's not going to be living with them permanently. Where if you're sending your kid to a different country, you better damn well be going there yourself. Like,
nah, they'll be fine.
You're sending your minor child to a different country.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Come on, okay. So you're saying you wouldn't send, or okay, maybe not for an extended period of time, but like a very long extended period of time. You wouldn't send you wouldn't be okay with sending your kid to like in high school to maybe a boarding school or transfer school for like maybe a few months.
He's not sending them to school. He's sending them to play professional basketball in Lithuania. The kid is no longer going to high school.
Yeah, I know.
I would send my kid. A study abroad is different than I'm taking you out of high school so that you can go play basketball in Lithuania. And by the way, you're going to live there by yourself with your brother, who shoplifted the only other time he's been abroad. So let's be honest about something here. I think that you have to be there for your kid while he's still growing up. He's still a teenager. Like, neither of these kids are adults, are full-blown adults that have lived in the real world as of yet. They just have to.
Yeah, it's a different world over there, I bet.
It's gonna be a fun learning experience for them, and I really hope that they do well. And I hope that this doesn't come back to hurt them. But I just see way more red flags than not.
Yeah, you make very valid points there, my dude. Very valid points.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think that now is a good time for a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, we got some good ones this week. I'm excited.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This episode of the ISH podcast is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's. I really love the food, but after I'm done, I'm hating myself. But please use the coupon code ISH for 0 packets of Szechuan sauce at checkout.
I never had Szechuan sauce while the craze was going on. By the way, I never had that.
Szechuan sauce will be it's continuing on. It will be coming back here in the winter time. It will be sticking through the winter season. So I will be getting me some goddamn Szechuan sauce. That's for sure.
Man, yes. Yeah. You hear that, McDonald's representative? Send me a box of Szechuan. Thanks. Hit me in the DMs. Hey, yeah, what's up?
We talked about our greatest pain. What is the greatest joy you've ever felt?
Holy Lord, why you gotta hit me with those feels? Oh man, the greatest joy I've ever felt. Do you know yours?
I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple, but I'm gonna pick one primarily. So I was working. I played the string bass and electric bass growing up, and for my solo, and I went to solo ensemble. For those of you who don't know, you play your instrument in front of a judge. You practice on a musical piece, and you perform for a judge, and then that judge scores you. And if you do well enough on a hard enough song, you get to go to the state competition and you get to play there. So my senior year, I played one of the hardest songs I have ever seen, and I prepped it, and I practiced for hours and hours and hours, and then I played in front of the judge, and he sent me to state, and it was just, I was so happy just because of all the work I put in, and it was just a great feeling of accomplishment.
Yeah.
So it was great. It's the Dragonetti Bass Concerto. If you want to look it up,
I think I was there for that.
Yeah, it is goddamn hard.
It looked terribly hard and so frustrating when practicing that thing.
Yeah. So I was happy to be
because you hit harmonics on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So
I was there.
I will get you a link for the song just because, in case anyone's interested, it was a hard as fuck song. So, and it's one of the songs I listen to this day whenever I need to study for something.
Really?
Yes, because it's very easy to listen to classical music and study. It's proven just because there's no words there, you don't really get distracted as easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's a good link. In any case, Sam, do you have what your
my greatest joy? You know, I don't really know if I have one, to be honest.
That's good. Merry Christmas, everyone.
I've had a lot of great moments.
Give us one of those.
Good moments in life. I think whenever my parents, whenever my mom or dad tells me like, "Hey, I'm proud of you."
There you go.
I think I think it solidifies in me that I'm doing a good job in life. And now that I'm an adult, I might get that a little less, but I don't really care. when I was young, when I was younger, I don't think my parents ever didn't say that. Like, yo, we're not proud of you for this. You really fucked up. They didn't really say that. They always said that like whenever they could, and that just solidified in me that they're always going to have my best interest at heart and just be happy for whatever I'm doing in life. So that's those are probably the greatest moments, I think, whenever they tell me, "Hey, Sam, I'm proud of you," or "I'm so proud of you." That's how my dad says it, like in a weird voice, but it just makes me happy. Yeah, that was a good one. I'll be sure to link that Dragonetti bass concerto in the description. I'll listen to that after the. I haven't listened to that in. Fuck, how long was that? 6 years?
Yeah,
6 years ago. So I'm gonna give that a listen. Please give it a listen for Logan here.
It's a good old time. I listen to it from time to time. Still, it's nice to look back at. And then I looked at the sheet music for it because I found it the other day when I was going through my stuff at my parents' house, and I was like, "This shit is hard." I just looked at it again. It's like this fucking. I don't even know how to read this shit right now. It's just,
wow.
I can read the music, but I was like, this shit was hard.
This shit is hard. Oh my god.
In any case.
Okay, so everyone's probably been hearing about how Bitcoin has blown up the past few days. Like it used to be below 1,000 or like 3 or 4,000. It's been steadily rising actually over the last month and a half, but it just like exponentially exploded to now somewhere 16, 17K
Oh,
range per. Are you
let's
gonna
fact check ourselves here. It
fact
is
check it?
currently at 14,500, but earlier today it was at 15,500.
Oh my
So
god! So
it is so volatile.
I bet everybody is like, God damn it! I wish I had invested in Bitcoin. And Philip DeFranco talks about it, and he has been talking about cryptocurrency a lot. You know, these few weeks, and he's been saying to people, "Hey, be smart. It's a very volatile market with cryptocurrency. Do not put in money you are not willing to lose." And then people go out and take second mortgages out on their house to invest in Bitcoin. It's a terrible idea, absolutely terrible. Like I just want to, I want to get a degree in finance so I can say I am very, very knowledgeable in this stuff. Please don't do this. That's what I would say, because that's not smart. And like you said earlier, it's very volatile.
And the difference between this, so last week we were given the suggestion to talk about it, so I did a little bit of research into it, and the difference between the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and standard currencies like the US dollar is that the US dollar is backed by a federal body like the US government, who is responsible for printing more money or regulating how the money is working in the system.
Yep.
Whereas the cryptocurrencies are decentralized, so there's no central hub where the value is located. The idea is that a bunch of people who are skeptical of each other are going to regulate the market because they realize that they have very similar interests, but they don't want other people to be. They're very skeptical of other people's intentions, so they know that they're going to have to decentralize as much power as possible to try to keep this growing as much as they can. And typically, like say the U.S. dollar used to be backed by gold.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrencies are backed by pretty much encryption.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting system.
Yep.
So just an encrypted system of checks and balances to make sure that there's not too much power held in one specific place. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then actually, luckily enough, I did major in actuarial science, which talked a lot about the stock market. So as far as futures, I know that there's been big in the news that Bitcoin futures are going to be coming up. I'll give a little brief explanation as to what a future is. So for those of you who don't know, let's take an asset. We'll just take like a vegetable. Let's just say corn. So if you are a corn farmer and you know that the price of corn is going to dictate how well you live your life, you may want to kind of secure a certain price in order to be sure that you can continue to live at a reasonable level for yourself, so you're not too affected if the price of corn were to drop.
Yeah.
And if you are a buyer of corn, sometimes you would like to make sure that in case the price goes up too substantially high, you don't want to buy that corn anymore. So you would like to control for in case it gets super high in value. So what a future is, it's an agreement between two parties to buy corn at a specified price, a certain amount of corn at a specified price in a certain time period. So let's say 1 year from now, I would buy 5 bushels or whatever it would be of corn from Sam for $50 a bushel. So we would both, like, let's say I wanted to buy for 25 and he wanted to sell for 75. We find our way down to the middle. It's not necessarily going to be in the middle every single time based off of the market, but just to make it super simple. So no matter what happens, neither of us gets super screwed.
Yeah.
We just both get, a little bit punished based off of our decisions, but we're kind of hedging our bets against down markets. So for cryptocurrency, a future would be that you are betting on the price of Bitcoin in the future. So what you'll be doing is you'll be buying that at a certain rate.
Yeah.
Or you'll be buying a certain amount, hoping that the price value goes up so that you're making some money, or down if you're selling, or sorry, down if you're buying so you can make some money, or up if you are selling it so you can make some more money as well. It'll be it'll be interesting to see how the market is impacted. I might have just flipped the order there too. I think
No,
it's,
it sounded right to me. It sounded right to
but
me. And yeah,
but yeah,
like you said, cryptocurrency is like, oh, excuse me. So many people are like cryptocurrency future, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that way for a while. It's going to probably take a long time for cryptocurrency to become like a norm in our everyday society and to become, like a universal currency because it is so volatile right now. And until
mhm,
until we stop seeing like $1,000 drops in like market share, like every single day or every single hour or every single minute or
mhm,
every single now I'm just probably not seconds, but you never know. That it's probably not going to be, it's going to continue to drop and fall and drop and fall, and people are going to like shit their pants every single day. um, but I found it interesting that people are heavily investing like a lot of their time, a lot of their assets, and a lot of their money into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency exchanges. Example comes up is the Winklevoss twins. If never heard of them, or Winklevoss, I'm not exactly sure if that's German or not, but they were the ones that were involved in the Facebook startup. So if you've ever seen The Social Network, the Social Network movie made them out to be, pompous assholes. Um, but in actuality, like, they ended up settling with Zuckerberg for Facebook shares. And when Facebook went public in 2012, they made over $300 million in Facebook shares. So they invested that money in, cryptocurrency. And so Gemini is one of their, it's like Coinbase. It's like an exchange or a
mhm.
cryptocurrency firm, I guess you could say. And they're making a killing. Like they're marginalized several $100 million, I think, right now, because they invested heavily into Bitcoin when it was just starting. So now, like, their shit is worth millions. And so they're pouring a lot of those assets back into Gemini and, to other cryptocurrency assets. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of kicking myself, and I'm a little currently triggered that because when I saw Bitcoin start to come out, I was like, whatever, it's volatile, nothing's gonna happen. And then,
Mhm.
6 years later, it's worth $15,000. Yeah, but yeah, so that's why I'm currently triggered. And it's an interesting concept, cryptocurrency. And I think I want to end this a little bit by saying, do not invest what you are not willing to lose, please. Thank you. So you can keep your life and you can move
There you
on.
go.
And yeah, Logan,
We've done our duty. We've
why are
done our
you
due
why are
diligence there.
you why are you currently triggered?
Oh well, I wouldn't say I'm triggered. I actually thought the story was pretty funny, but Rosie O'Donnell was pretty triggered by that tax bill that we were talking about earlier.
Okay, okay.
She was so triggered, in fact, that
Mm.
she accidentally committed bribery. So she tweeted she sent a tweet that said, "Let me take a look if I get the exact wording here." It said, "Oh no, I lost it." In any case, it says something to the effect of, "I will give Senator Susan Collins and Senator Jeff Flake $2 million each if they vote no against the tax bill." We'll link some articles that outline the situation. It turns out that I can't remember which subsection of the law it is, but she broke bribe law. So the punishment would be either 3 times the amount that you issued in the bribe, so it'd be $12 million, or 5 years in prison, or both. And Ben Shapiro tweeted a series of things. The first being lock her up, lock her up. And then he followed that up with, if Trump orders Jeff Sessions, the attorney general, to investigate Rosie O'Donnell, he'd be carved into the Mount Rushmore by Friday, because that would be one of the funniest things to ever happen. But after Ben Shapiro tweeted that, Rosie O'Donnell responded with "Suck my dick, Ben." And Ben Shapiro, being the quick-witted Jew that he is, no, I'm kidding, being the quick-witted man that he is, tweeted back, "You're a felon, Rosie. Don't be a homophobic sexual harasser too." And then he tweeted, "Me too." Hashtag me too. Just a great overall response
Oh,
to
get
a ridiculous
roasted,
situation.
dude.
Just hilarious.
I have to
So,
like you've talked so much about Ben Shapiro and I've seen some of his stuff, but I don't watch him all the time like you do, or
yeah.
like a lot of his bits. And then I also want to watch that Louder with Crowder Change My Mind bit that he has because
Mm-hmm.
I've seen like they popped up on Reddit and like Twitter and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
they always look so interesting. Like I need to hop on that bandwagon.
This most recent one, for those of you who are interested, is Kwanzaa is not a valid holiday. Change my mind, which is funny, but interesting because I learned something new about Steven Crowder last week, and
Oh,
it's that he was the voice of the character the Brain, a black bear on the show Arthur.
no way.
And he was and he when he was like 13 or something like that, he did the voice of it.
Holy shit.
And he was the bear that celebrates Kwanzaa during the holiday special, and he had to sing a Kwanzaa song for it. And now, come this past week, he did a Change My Mind segment.
Oh wow, it went full circle.
It's very, very great.
Did he talk about that? Did he talk about that like in his past? Like,
yeah,
okay.
He talked about it this past. He talks about it during the video, but I just found it interesting because Allie, my fiance, loves the Arthur Christmas special.
Oh,
so I've heard all the songs before, and so I was like, wait a minute, because he briefly mentioned Arthur in passing during one of the episodes. I was like, wait a minute. So I looked into it. I was like, wait a minute, he's the one who sings the Kwanzaa song. And then he eventually came out with it. It was pretty interesting turnaround.
It was pretty funny.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh my god,
it's a fun time. It's not as serious as his other arguments, obviously, because
oh yeah, of course not.
It's about Kwanzaa. It's not about anything too necessary to, or I guess too upfront in political life.
Yeah,
so it's more of a soft one. But I'd suggest watching any of them. It's a good idea to just try to open yourself up, take arguments in, and see if you can consolidate all of your thoughts to remain consistent throughout your arguments. I think it's an interesting strategy and practice.
Okay, noted.
But yeah, so fun fact: Rosie O'Donnell could earn a huge fine for potential bribery. I hope it's a thing. That'd be hilarious. Rosie O'Donnell hates Trump, by the way.
Oh
in case you didn't know, they're like enemies during the campaigning and before, so it's funny.
It's a little funny. She hasn't been the most well-spoken person I've ever heard. It's like whenever I see her in the news, I'm just like, fuck. Okay.
It's what makes it such a great battle of wits between her and Donald Trump.
Not really.
Trump. Yeah, it's
like
just a battle of
that would be like me saying to you, Logan, like you are one of the most, well, actually no. Okay, so this is like not part of like the hypothetical conversation we're having. You're one of the most quick-witted people to come up with insults and come up with comebacks, in my opinion. For all the times I've known you, whenever I come up with something stupid, or I say something stupid, or I do something stupid, or I try to come back at you, and you're just like, you just have a brief moment of pause, and then your insult ensues the conversation, and I'm just like, see, this is why I don't talk. That's exactly why. That is relative to this, because I feel like whatever Rosie O'Donnell says is not in comparison to what Ben Shapiro or I guess like Trump says either, because I'm sure Trump has a person has a person tweeting.
And Trump has his fucking moments though. Trump, it can be very funny.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Funny shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like Rosie O'Donnell, not that funny, and then Trump's like, hit him with the side jab right in the face and sit down on your ass. That's what I'm saying.
You just see so many intellectual clashes of titans, like Rosie O'Donnell versus Donald Trump, and Donald Trump versus LeVar Ball, and there's just so many great intellectual titans of our time coming together. It's just a great time to be alive. Who could have? This wouldn't happen if Hillary Clinton was president.
Never.
But
ever.
Oh God.
All right. Do you want to talk about World War II?
I would love for you to speak about World War II.
Call of Duty, World War II. Not the actual World War II in history, because we weren't there. We read about in history books, and sorry.
Same reason they got Call of Duty. For those of you who don't know, this is a middle school and high school throwback. For Sam to have finally gotten it, the squad's back together. So Sam,
dude.
What are your initial thoughts upon playing the game?
Oh my! I really liked it. It was smooth. The character movements and the guns felt pretty good. It took me a little bit to get back into the swing of things. I think one of the most diverse things they did with this Call of Duty are the maps. Like, yes, they still have most of them still have that 3-lane structure, but a lot of them are different levels. You know, like let's say Gustav Cannon is like, you know, that big ass cannon in the middle, and then the rest is just almost not linear. There's like tunnels, there's hills, there's all these little nuances that you have to be aware of when you're playing, because you're not going to be able, your line of sight on certain maps is very limited, to say the least. So you have to be on your guard all the time and making sure that you're making the right plays and not, you know, fucking sprinting around corners, because I fucking still do that all the time and it upsets me. So that's, I think the other thing that I like about it is I really like the HQ aspect and the crate aspect of it, because I never really played a game where it has that besides CS:GO. Like that is, you know, it's consistently written in there. There's still a lot of cool little nuances as well, like the 1v1s in the lobbies, and all the different challenges and contracts you can do for XP, and emotes I think are hilarious. I think that's also, I think they just did a lot of great innovative things that they might have tagged on to the game from other games that they probably got inspired by or they came up with by themselves. That's totally fine. But overall thoughts, I like it. I enjoy my time playing it with the boys and by myself. I still rage like a motherfucker. A lot. A lot, God, dude.
Yeah. I've never started in Call of Duty.
Yeah, yesterday I was playing with Logan, and I had a drink sitting on my desk, and I was just picked up, and I just wanted to slam it so hard against my desk because lag is a bitch. And oh my god, I never thought like lag could make such a difference. Like it was like the most minute lag. It was like a couple frames, maybe a few frames of connection. And we opponents would see each other, like I would see another dude, and the exact same time around the corner, and he'd kill me first, even if I got a few bullets off first. I was like, bruh. God. Oh, man. Anywho,
I think the best thing they added was loss prevented if you're joining a game in progress.
That's true.
That is one of the best, because that's one of the worst parts of COD is just joining into a game in progress, because you know it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
About 90% of the time, you're just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So at least you don't lose the game. I think that
is a good bonus. I agree.
Great addition.
I think also they added Gridiron was a new mode that I've never ever seen in a Call of Duty before. So I think maybe that was I don't think it was in previous Call of Duties. I don't
recall it.
So I like that. That's an interesting game, and I can just let my friends go and play the objective, and I'll just slay the entire time, and it's a good time. What's another thing I like? War is an interesting game mode. I like to play it more, to be honest. I think I would like to play it more if we had, I think, maybe more than 4 people, like maybe one other person in our squad that was consistently on. Because if you have randos, it's hard to coordinate and consistently keep the objective in your favor, I would say.
Right. Right.
And then I think there's that one map we played with the tank and the bridge, where it was pushing, where I think the people that are like pushing for the objective, not defending, are at an advantage, I think, period.
Yeah.
Especially on that map, but maybe they'll fix that in the next DLC. And yeah.
Well, there are a couple maps for that mode, so they're pretty balanced as far as which ones are hard for which role. So it'll be interesting for you to build a bridge. I'll just say that much.
Okay, we haven't gone that far yet.
You haven't gone that far yet, my friend. You haven't seen the best part of the best war map. So
okay.
Building a bridge. Anyway, so yeah, you'll get to that point, and then you'll understand. You'll hit nirvana, and you'll understand life. So it'll be a fun experience.
Yeah, I am. I don't know. I'm glad the squad's back together. I'm glad that we're playing Call of Duty again. Because I mean, like for several months, like Logan and I consistently play with a group of our friends, like video game wise. And for a long chunk of time, like these last few months have been 6 months, I'd say 8 months. It's we haven't been consistently playing the same game. So once I got PUBG, I've been playing that a lot. And then League, like League was just, I think we just got burnt. We got burnt out and we weren't enjoying it as much. And I think we're just kind of waiting for the new season to start till maybe we give it, at least for me, I think at a squad standpoint, we're too engrossed in a Call of Duty. But Yeah.
It'll be nice to see what changes they make, and you're right. It is just a big old throwback nostalgia trip. But
Yeah, I'm very happy.
love
I'm
it.
very happy
Love
with
it.
World War II. Just have to fix the fucking lag and I'm fine. So that's great. It's fucking great. So
All right.
yeah,
Let's hear
Disney.
from.
Yeah, you want to hear from our other sponsor today?
I'd love to hear from our other sponsor.
Oh man, dude, we got some big ones today. Big heavy
Yeah, we do.
hitters. Hit us up in our DMs. Hashtag ad. Disney is proud to represent this episode of Insert Slogan here. This is a quote from them. We can't legally tell you how much we hate the shows we put out on Disney Channel, but the hosts of Ish can. Call 1-800-DISNEY-1. That's 1-800-DISNEY-1 to tell them to close Disney Channel. Thank you, Disney.
It'd be interesting that they put that in the fans of us and our viewers.
I think
You know.
I think that just shows how far we've come. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that shows how far we've come. You know, we get Disney, we get McDonald's, like some of the biggest name brands in the world on our podcast. Logan, what's your favorite Christmas gift you have ever received?
So I said before that I played the string bass growing up, but I also played the electric bass, and my family got me one. It was a cheap little learner instrument, but the fact that I could just get it and play it, and I learned another instrument, and I got to use that a lot. And Sam and I played in a band together growing up, and it was just a great time. So all of the memories that created, I think it all started with obtaining the electric bass itself.
Oh man!
So I'd have to thank my parents for that.
Oh man!
So long ago, I got that freshman year of high school, or no, eighth grade freshman year of high school time. So
sweet.
Yeah, I've had it forever.
That's good. Good shit.
It is.
My favorite Christmas gift. I actually just had a work party last week, and we talked about this. And my memory is shit to begin with anyway. I would probably say, from what I can remember as a little kid, it was when the Game Boy Advance came out. And I got a red one. And it was with the Pokemon Sapphire game. And that is still, to this day, one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. I don't care if people are like, Red's the best, all the originals are... Those are fantastic, I agree. I didn't get on the Pokemon hype back then because, I don't know, my parents hated me or something. It's fine. But they made up for that by getting me, the new Pokemon Advance and Pokemon Sapphire. So that would probably be my favorite Christmas gift, hands down. And I'm out of water.
I might have to amend mine, actually.
Oh, shit, let's hear it.
Because I remember a Christmas when I was a young lad when I got a Nintendo 64 with Super Smash Brothers, and that was my entire childhood of video games, right there, rolled into one game. Super Smash Brothers is amazing. It's my favorite. It is my favorite fighting series of all time, and nothing will displace that.
Yeah.
But Super Smash Brothers is just amazing. Just an incredible game idea, and the concept was just pulled off amazingly. So yeah, I'm gonna have to amend it. So I'll give the electric bass number 2 spot, but nothing can top Super Smash Brothers. So I can't believe that I didn't think about it. No, I just forgot that I got it for Christmas. If I'm being honest.
No, that's okay, dude. To be honest, I don't remember a whole lot of my Christmas gifts. Like that are like super significant. Like I can remember, I love handmade stuff. So like if a significant other or a family member or a friend like hand writes me like a note or makes a card for me, I will remember that, and that stuff means a lot. But I've gotten so many of those that I can't really pick a favorite because I just love them all. So yeah, again, just like video games being such a big part of my life, and that's kind of where it started for me was that. Yeah, long time ago in a galaxy far away called New Jersey. Yeah. Oh man,
you've come far.
Come so far from the land of Jersey. Do you want to talk about the mailbag?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Do you have first of all, Sam? Did you get any emails?
I don't think so. I checked it yesterday.
I checked. I didn't get anything. So, is there anyone in the Twitch chat asking any questions? We'll hit them.
There were a few talkers earlier, but I think they probably all pieced out because they've been quiet for quite a while now.
Well, let's take the questions anyway. If there are any.
There was a guy that asked like at the beginning of the stream, and so like I muted myself and then typed a response because I felt that. He asks, "Are you guys fans of the TV show Survivor?"
I was a huge fan of the TV show Survivor. I would watch it with my family when I can't remember how early on. It was like season 3 that we or maybe even before that, that we watched it as a family for a couple seasons, and then we just kind of fell off because, I mean, people get busier, things like that. But I do
Yeah.
enjoy the concept of Survivor a lot. Besides the fact that I can't remember which, I think it was Daniel Tosh said, Survivor is a game in America where you go to places and survive where people already live. Like, so outside of that aspect of it, I like the idea of getting into tribes of people and
Holy shit, that's
working
so
and working with your
true.
self interests and against other people, like with your team, but also against your team in case you get voted off. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I like
really
that too.
it's really interesting.
I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
I was never like I watch it sometimes, but I never watched it I think consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And I never became a huge fan of the show. Like at all. I was just Survivor, okay. It was like that show that you watch when there's nothing else to watch for me.
Right.
Or that click through. Like I was a big fan of Discovery Channel.
Okay.
So like
Yeah.
if Man vs. Wild wasn't on, Survivor was maybe second, maybe third, maybe I don't know, but yeah. So what season did you leave off on? Do you remember? Because I know there's so
God,
many
no,
now.
I don't. I don't remember anymore. There's
Because
been so much Survivor.
well, they come out with different versions too. Like there's two or three maybe a year now that come
Oh
out.
wow.
I think
Yeah, I
that's
got nothing for you.
okay because that's what I remember of the show. Like so many of them coming
Mm-hmm.
out. But yeah, do you want to
Any
move?
other questions from the? Any other
No,
questions from
no,
the
no
chat?
one's talked, so that means they're all quiet and they left. It's fine. It's fine.
Sounds good.
It's
Then
fine.
for this portion of the show, like we did there, if you have any questions you want to ask us, anything big or small, anything at all, either watch us live on Twitch, or if you have any questions for Sam at any time, please give me an email at pathosquestions@yahoo.com. If you have any questions for me, give Sam an email at pathos.biz at yahoo.com. We'll be happy to answer any and all questions. Uh, the fun part about this is I will know the questions that Sam will receive, but he will not before the show. So it'll be interesting to see who breaks the mold here and gives us some questions. I
And
know
it
that we've had a couple in the past
and it goes
from a
vice versa. It goes
Glorious
vice
fan,
versa.
right? And we've had a couple questions directed at both of us from a great fan here. But I'd be curious to see if there's anything specific for one of us where we could absolutely
Oh,
target banned here. But
oh yeah,
let's
yeah,
see
yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, I want to be ostracized or something.
Yeah,
Like
and
Logan, why does Sam's hair look like ass or or like
hilarious.
low or or like Sam, why does Logan always look good in glasses? Like I don't know, like those kind of
Sam, why won't
questions.
Logan shut the fuck up? That's the question I'm expecting. But in any case, feel free to give us those emails. We'll be sure to link them down below. I think now it's time to get real ish. Go ahead, Sam.
So I always tend to start these things out with I've been thinking a lot about or lately this X or Y happened and it got me thinking. Truly, though, I've been thinking about dedication. See what I did there? A simple concept of following through on a promise statement, the willingness to see a project or relationship to the end, no matter what. At least that's my definition. Google tells me, that dedication is the quality of being dedicated or committed to a task or purpose. Of course, it's right. Think about the last time you were truly dedicated to something. Family, a friend needed your help moving or a ride to school or class. Your girlfriend or boyfriend wants to spend time with you, but you want to spend quality time with friends, like Saturdays with the boys. That you haven't seen your friends in a while, or it could be the other way around. A hobby, whatever it is. Has that dedication ever slipped or faltered? Did you want to do something else instead of that dedicated task you had put so much time into building or creating? If so, that sucks. Hands down, no other way to put it, that just sucks. For whatever reason, you and I felt that you'd rather spend your energy and time doing something else. That reason may be valid, and that's okay. I'm not coming at you for changing your commitment. In fact, it might be totally okay to switch. But whatever that dedicated task was or currently is, give yourself a break. If it's a relationship that is no longer fruitful, maybe it's time to dedicate that time to yourself or a different person. That activity, like video games or practicing your pool trick shots, isn't working out and you feel that it's time to give up. Do both of those things or none. I would think really hard, before making that decision. For a relationship, you may not be able to go back to it. For a hobby, you might not have the time later in life that you do now. Make sure your decision is a solid one and that you don't look back with regret, because that leads to unrest and your mental health will suffer. If you get over shit easily, fantastic. Now go dedicate your time to something that is worth your time. Logan.
Well, that was great, by the way. It's official, though. Christmas is upon us. The day where many people celebrate something fantastic: capitalism. Or Jesus. Sometimes it's hard to remember which. But in any case, as we approach the season of giving and receiving, it's important to keep in mind which part of that transaction is the most important. That, of course, is giving. Giving is a selfless act of putting other people's wants and needs before your own. And there aren't many sensations quite like it. It's a true usage of your empathy. After receiving a truly breathtaking gift, you're filled with joy. However, when you put a lot of thought into a gift that you give someone else, the reaction of the other person can be even more fulfilling. You're able to feel that joy that the other person expresses, causing a more emotional connection and a better memory of the exchange for everyone involved. In the age of instant gratification and participation trophies, giving something that has meaning behind it can also break the mold and make someone feel special. The gift doesn't have to be too big either. In fact, when I see a lot of the car commercials around this time of year, those seem like the biggest lies. If my fiance bought me a car tomorrow, I would not be excited. I would have a new car payment that I did not know about beforehand. But I digress. The size of the gift or the amount you spend is not important. Even something as simple as giving a gift of your time to someone can make a world of difference. In closing, there's only one good way to wrap up this episode. See what I did there? And that's by saying thank you to all of you who are giving us the gift of your time and support. Happy holiday. No. Merry Christmas, everyone. See you next week.
Happy holidays. It's Christmas time. But yeah, that's been episode, what is that, 14?
14.
Holy crap. But yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting. Have a very happy holidays. Merry Christmas to both of you, or all of you for that matter. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Peace.